Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Anna, and today we're going to talk about the Chanel Rouge Noir collection, and we're going to dupe the vibe. So I dug through my makeup collection and looked for things that reminded me of products within this Rouge Noir line from Chanel, because girl, I'm not spending Chanel prices on some stuff that is blush colored and burgundy. I was like, I have things that look just like that in my collection. I know it. And I also think this collection is absolutely beautiful and perfect for Valentine's Day. And I found it very inspiring and it made me want to dig in my collection and see what I had to play up that Rouge Noir look. So I'm going to be focusing mainly on the blush and eye palette, the mascara and eyeliner today. It's a pretty extensive collection. I do believe a lot of it is sold out. It's gotten restocked. It sells out again. But we'll talk about it and the stuff I found within my makeup that feels very Rouge Noir to me. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, Rouge Noir is a nail polish by Chanel, which was like this, legendary nail polish in the 90s. It was the classic goth girl shade. It was this beautiful dark burgundy. It's probably been duped about 1,010,000 times, but it was like the quintessential edgy goth girl that was not on a budget nail polish. Everybody wanted the shade. It was chic. It was cool. It was vampy. It was very 90s couture goth. They decided to build a whole collection around that nail polish shade. So there's a few lipsticks, I think, in this collection. I think there was like 3 lipsticks that were in various shades, and then one that obviously looks like Rouge Noir. But I wasn't real intrigued by the other lipstick shades, so I didn't bother really duping those. And there was a couple of eyeshadows, Ombre Essentials. Now these are gorgeous, and I actually found them very hard to dupe. I actually tried to see if I had things in my collection that looked like the 2 shades, which was Gris Rose and I believe Rose Brune. I didn't have anything that really had the same nuance that those did. There was something actually really unique about them, and if there was something in the collection that I think would be hard to dupe, it would be those 2 little eyeshadows. The Gris Rose one has this truly kind of grayish undertone with a pink kind of shift to it. The closest thing that I really found in my collection was from the She's in Parties palette from Melt Cosmetics, and it was the shade called Strange Love. It kind of felt similar, but I don't think it's quite it. And this one looked a little bit more like Brune Rose, or Rose Brune, whichever. Yeah, Brune Rose. That color kind of made me think of it. But again, not quite it. They were actually far more complex shades than I thought. Just glancing at them, I'm like, oh, those look dupeable. But when I actually looked at swatches and saw kind of the undertone of them and how it looked in the light and stuff, I was like, oh, no, those are actually kind of special. So I'm not going to attempt to dupe those. And there's also a cheek stick that I also think is actually really easily dupeable. I just don't have anything on hand that looks like it. It was the Balm Essential. They had one of those in a pink shade. But in a swatch, it looked like pretty much a almost clear shade with a slight pink iridescence. And I'm just off the bat, I can tell you that something like this from L'Oreal, the Lumi Lip Glass, is a very similar type of product, and I think they have one of these with a bit more of a pink undertone. But for today, we'll just use this one. This is the Glassy Pearl shade, which is going to be not quite the same undertone, but once it's on the skin, I really didn't see much difference in the application or swatches. To me, it was not the most exciting product as far as the color goes. And generally these kind of balmy sticks that are very glassy, they can be a little sticky. They're not my favorite thing in the world. They're pretty, but they're just not my favorite for longevity of makeup. Yeah, I think L'Oreal has something that would be similar to that. in a bit of a pinkier shade. So I'll link that below. And if I come across any other like just makeup that makes me think of this collection, I'll go ahead and link that too, if I remember. But okay, let's focus on what I do have dupes of, and kind of not really dead on dupes, obviously, but things that make me remind me of the collection. So caveat there, they are not exact dupes, they're things that just make me think of the collection. And no, I didn't do my nails. I should have painted my nails burgundy. Girl, I'm pretty sure I have a burgundy nail polish that looks like Rouge Noir. But let's start with this Rouge Noir Confidence eyeshadow and blush palette. This is one of their larger palettes. It kind of looks like their eyeshadow palettes, but it's a 2-in-1. And from what I gathered, it was fairly pigmented palette. I did watch multiple videos and look at swatches of these things. And this comes in at $95. No. No. Especially because it's not like it's anything just groundbreaking unique that I have to run out and get this. Like, this is something that you could easily find something that looks almost like it at the drugstore, if not pretty dead on, or just more affordable high-end brand, and still get that color story. Because it's such a beautiful romantic color story. It is very early 90s goth feeling, very romantic, runway couture feeling. Like, it captures that little moment in time from the 90s when goth was very couture looking. So in this you have 4 shades with varying tones and finishes that can double as blush or eyeshadow. And when I was digging around my collection, I think I found something that looks almost like each shade. The only one that I really had some trouble with was the top brightest berry color. I just don't really keep blushes in that tone. That's not a shade that I find flattering on myself. So the closest that I had, which I think you could find something definitely closer, is from MAC, and that's Rosy A Go-Go. Happy Go Rosy, sorry. I always flip-flop that. I think I could kind of get there with the color, but the one in the palette is definitely more fuchsia, which is not something I personally have on hand, is a fuchsia blush. But this kind of gives that fuchsia flush on me. You could definitely find something a bit more in a berry tone. Just pretty powder berry blush is going to do the job for it. That color is not one that I would tend to want to reach for very often anyway. Now, the other shades in here, we have that dark kind of dusty, deep blushy shade. And I found from Milani this one called Ciao Bella, which has a beautiful sheen to it, which it looks like the one in the palette has that same sheen. I thought this was a really nice alternative to it. It has that little bit earthiness in it that appears to be in the Rouge Noir palette. It's a pretty decent amount of pigmentation in here, a little bit of sheen. It looks really, really close in my opinion. And then I also pulled Pink Panna Cotta for the softer pink shade. Again, from Milani. I think it might be a little bit more in the bubblegum light pink in appearance, but I'm thinking in application it's probably going to be pretty close. So these definitely made me think of blushes within this little palette. I would say maybe the one in the palette is a little bit more muted than this, not quite as blue based, but again, on the skin, I think it's going to be pretty close. And this has a really pretty kind of golden sheen in it that can warm it up a little bit in application. Let me see if I can kind of just swatch it. Like it have, yeah, a little bit more warmth than what you think. And it's a very softly pigmented color, but it's not nearly as bubblegum on the face as it looks in the pan. And then for the highlight, kind of light, almost like a highlighter shade, I guess you could call it, in the top corner, I pulled Wet n Wild Blossom Glow, which is just a really soft kind of pink highlighter with a bit of a blue shift in it, kind of a bluey shift, which is what that shade appears to have. It looks like it has a bit of a duochrome, very soft duochrome in there this to me looked almost exact in the swatches and applications. So, and I also have a color dupe kind of option for lips and a couple of formulations that I think could definitely look pretty and similar to something that's in the collection, as well as an eyeliner and mascara, because they put out a burgundy eyeliner and a burgundy mascara. So let's go ahead and just start putting some stuff on my face and talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to start with the eyeliner, and the liner in the collection is a deep burgundy shade, very similar to the nail polish, of course. And it is the Stilo U waterproof in Rouge Noir, and it comes in at $36, which that is a lot for an eyeliner. When you got good old NYX here at the drugstore that makes a beautiful long wear, I think pretty much waterproof eyeliner, and this is in the Epic Wear range, and the shade is Burnt Sienna. A burgundy eyeliner like this is not something that is too hard to source outside of Chanel. A pretty burgundy liner is not going to be the hardest thing to find. The difference is this is sharpenable and the Stilo U looks like a twist up. But either way, and I'm thinking for today we're going to keep things very chic and very kind of in that 90s goth feel, but not too much. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to do a ton. I want to keep things very kind of editorial feeling in a way. And if you're curious about whatever else is on my face, all that is going to be listed and linked down below. I'm going to take the liner and I'm going to go right here, the upper lash line. And instead of doing my typical thing, which would be to wing it out, I'm not going to wing it. I'm just going to bring it along up here and into the tight line. But one of the reasons I thought it'd be kind of fun to do this video with this collection is because it sold out very quickly, and it did get a restock, and I don't know if it's going to get restocked again. It's also very expensive. So that'd be kind of fun. It's just kind of a fun exercise to shop my stash and see what I had that really fit this collection that caught my eye. And if there's ever other like collections from a luxury brand like this that you would like to see some dupes of, you can always DM me on Instagram, drop in a comment somewhere over here on YouTube, post on the little community wall, whatever. Let me know. Because I had a ton of fun with this video. And I'm going to bring this along the lower lash line. And I know that a lot of times you can be a little wary about pinky eyeshadows around the eye, but I think it really depends on how you apply them, what you use with them. Like adding in that dark burgundy like this can kind of ground it. I'd also say like bring in like a brown liner or a black liner. You know, create that faint frame between your iris or eyeball and your eyes. It could keep it from going pink eye looking. But the trick is making it look intentional when you're using pink eyeshadows and stuff. Like, don't worry about so much looking like you have pink eyes, so much as just the intentionality of the color placement. No one's going to look at you and think you got pink eye. Especially if you're going for something a little bit more on the editorial side, it's going to be a little different in, you know, your experiment playing, doing something a little outside the box. But just, you know, keep that in mind about the intentionality and the placement of the colors. So I'm going to bring this all along the lower lash line here. And I personally think that burgundy liner is very flattering, especially on like kind of bluish green eyes. And hazel eyes, brown eyes, it's a very flattering color. And now I'm going to take a little smudge brush and smudge that out, but keep it not too blown out, but just a little soft smudge. I'm going to grab a little angled brush for that. And same on the upper. And now we'll jump over to our little blushy shades right here. And what we do is a little combination of these three. the two from Milani, and the highlighter. And yeah, we're just gonna play and apply them. Now these Milani baked highlighters, these are new launches from them, and they are fairly impactful. Keep that in mind, that you light hand. So I'm going to start with the deepest of the colors here, which is again similar to one in the little palette. And I'll really tap that off because I am a ghost and it can look a little too much on me. But I'm going to start that right back here on the back of the cheeks. I really, really like this color. It's like this just gorgeous wine shade. What I like about this one is that it does have a little bit of earthiness in it, and it appears that the shade similar to this in the Chanel one does too, which adding that little earthiness is what grounds the look. And it looked like you could take that palette, use that palette in a couple of different ways, where you could go into a bit of a cooler place or a warmer place. Especially if you had those little ombre essentials. One being cool, one being warm. You could definitely go one way or the other. We're going to kind of try to split the difference. But oh, that is such a good blush shade. Like, ooh, she is pretty. Again, I'm just kind of keeping it a little bit higher up. I'm going to take a eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to bring that through the socket here. I mean, look at the pigmentation on these Milani blushes is pretty good. And I'm gonna do this as like a wash onto the lid as well. And then buff it out the corners. And just have this nice monochromatic feel. Which, you know, I'm a sucker for a monochromatic look. I'm taking this kind of more of a lay down brush so I can get a little bit more just on the lid here. I mean, this is a very romantic color. And you see as we blended stuff, it's kind of softening that liner up a bit and not being so harsh. So that was kind of the goal of doing the liner first. We might go back and touch it up, add a little more, but I wanted it to just be kind of worked in to the look a little bit. I'm taking my little angle brush and really building that up on the lower lash line. Now let's go over to the light pink shade. I know you're gonna be like, what are you gonna do with that? What we're gonna do is take a little bit on our little eyeshadow brush, clean it off. And I'm gonna take this around the edge. Just like what I would do if these were in a palette together. Now another palette that you may have that could really lean into this well is like if you're just looking for eyeshadows that really feel like they belong to that Rouge Noir feel, Wine and Only from ColourPop can definitely have a really kind of fit the vibe of the color story. Even though there's nothing in the collection that looks like this, it can really, it works as far as just the color story goes. Even though it's not a product dupe. Same with Danessa Meyrick's Groundwork Blooming Romance. These colors, heck yeah. So just letting you know that there are some options out there that you don't have to have a product that even looks like something in the collection just to kind of get the feel of it. It's more getting just inspired by the color itself, not so much the products. Do you see how blending this around those edges is really kind of like softening that out and just creating a really nice kind of flow that's very soft and delicate. And just blending that out. And I'm going to take some of this on the cheeks as well, lightly. And then we'll go over to our little highlight here. And I'm going to take some of that, of course, on the cheeks. Because in the palette, this is obviously going to be something you can use on cheeks and eyes. So we're going to do just that. And bring in some glow. These Wet n Wild highlighters, by the way, the Mega Glow highlighting powders. These are beautiful. Like they are just a gorgeous formulation and very refined. Like they're great. I think there's probably a shade like in the Moonchild palette that would suit this as well from ABH. If you happen to have that in your collection. I'm gonna bring this in your corner. And we're gonna use this to add just a wet sheen kind of onto the lid here. All right. Yeah, and just a bit of a statement look that's kind of soft. It's a little romantic, but to me it's very much in that 90s goth editorial feel. And you could definitely go more dramatic with it. I wanted to keep it a little bit toned down because we're going to go super vampy on the lips. All right, I'm just going to jump back to my eyeliner for a sec. It's not that darkness of the lashes. All right, and then mascara. You can definitely find a mascara dupe for the one in the collection. It is the Noir Allure Mascara in Rouge Noir. Retails for $45 for a mascara. Get out of here. Clinique, I have the Black Honey Mascara. Looks about the same. L'Oreal and Maybelline both have burgundy mascaras that are going to run you around the $10 price point, give or take a few dollars. I just don't personally have a drugstore one on hand because I have this one, but they're very easy to acquire at the drugstore. So I'll have all that linked below as well. But yeah, we're going to do a couple coats of this. This is a Clinique High Impact in Black Honey. Which to me, Black Honey and Rouge Noir can really play well together. They're very similar. One is like the sheared out version of the other. ColourPop as well is a great place to get color mascara, things they used to, and eyeliners in really beautiful shades. So if you're looking for a burgundy one, I think they have a really nice burgundy. I remember seeing Rouge Noir nail polish though in magazines when I was a kid and just being like, I can't wait to wear nail polish like that. I was always so fixated on the alternative goth girls when I was a kid. I mean, I still am, obviously. Like, I still love that kind of stuff. I think I want to put a little bit more on the lower lash line. I want it to feel a little heavier. Do a little more liner. We'll do a little bit of our darkest blush again on that angled brush. Oh, was it Jean-Paul Gaultier? I think it was his stuff. That was always so beautifully done on the runway. It was very gothy looking. Jumping over to lips, I have a couple of options here. I pulled a couple formats rather. I pulled Vampire Love from Revlon Super Lustrous because there is like I think it's a matte lip or a traditional lipstick in the range. But anyways, I pulled this because it is a very deep vampy shade. This or Black Cherry would be perfect shades. But Vampire Love with a lip liner, yeah, I think that's going to be a really nice move. And I also pulled from ColourPop LAX. I mean, I think this one is going to be the perfect one. But I'm going to go ahead and put on this one just so we see what it looks like. This little combo of Vampire Love. I mean, we should come on, that name. Are you kidding me? From Revlon with the Milani lip liner in Hot Tamale. Trick with the Milani lip liners, do not put your cap on the end. When you're sharpening, this will break off. Just to let you know, I've had that happen on 2 of them, and sometimes this will get stuck in the cap and you can't use it. So be mindful of that. The back here is bad about just breaking off. I don't know why, like the glue just comes loose. So keep that in mind when you're sharpening. Don't do this number. It gets a little too snug on there. And when you go to sharpen, it just, and I come across that and like the next day somebody commented with the same issue. I was like, oh, okay, so it wasn't just a me thing then. So just be careful there. Oh, my lip gloss there, my lip balm had some shimmer in it. So I got some glitters on my lips, but we'll be okay. I think they had in the Chanel collection some matte lipsticks and then a like something that I would think is kind of like the vinyl ink lipsticks from Maybelline, like that kind of glossy liquid lipstick finish. That's what it appeared to me, the other lip option. But they both came in the Rouge Noir shade. All right, and Vampire Love looks like this. In Black Cherry is this, but deeper. So here it is with Vampire Love and the Milani lip liner in Hot Tamale together for more traditional lipstick finish, satin finish. And yeah, very pretty. Definitely looks pretty close to something in the glossy lip option in the collection, or the satin lip option. But my favorite really is the ColourPop Ultra Matte Lippy in LAX. To me, it is just like the dead on perfect shade. So let's go in with that one from ColourPop. Yeah, that that is her perfection. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that one is just where it's at for this type of look and this vibe that we're going for. So here we are with our 90s Rouge Noir vibes on the face. I kind of love it. It's like very classic goth girl vibes in like that just romantic 90s way. And I don't care if it kind of looks like I have pink eye. I don't. It was intentional. And yeah, I think it's pretty. And I had so much fun just kind of putting this video together a little bit, sourcing pictures and inspiration, looking at the Chanel collection, looking at the swatches and how everything looked on the skin, and then digging in my collection, pulling out so much stuff that I thought could potentially be options, and sitting here swatching and playing and seeing how things played out on the skin, and just, it was very fun. So I would love to do something like this again and make this maybe kind of a thing. So let me know down below though if you have a color story or a collection from a brand that you thought was so beautiful. It could be something available now, something that comes out in the future. You can come back and comment. A past collection that you just have some pictures of. Let me know down below. I love pulling inspiration from just a color and building a look around that. That is one of the most fun things to me. For a while I was real into like using music to inspire makeup because music makes me see color. And which I know sounds a little weird, but it's true. Yeah, I love looking at like these collage boards based on like a Pantone color or something like that. So if you have any of those, you can send them my way over on Instagram. My DMs are always open for you guys. And yeah, let me know down below if there's any just collections and classic color stories that you want to see looks built around, or things that you would like to see duped. I'm working on the Natasha Denona dupe video. It's coming. And yeah, because I did get that request. It's in the works. It's one that's going to take a little research and a little bit of thinking on. But anywho, thank you for hanging out with me today, creating this very, very vampy kind of Valentine's Day-esque look. And I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Bye now.